Great. Hello, Susritha. It's really exciting to have a chance to talk with you this morning. My name is Carrie Preston for all of those listening in, and I'm the director of Kilachand Honors College, as well as a professor in the English Department and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies program.
Hi, my name is Susritha. I am a current junior and I am majoring in biology and computer science, and I'm also in the Kilachand Honors College.
So I teach a course, KHC 302, Interdisciplinary Perspectives on Global Challenges, the Refugee Crisis. And Susritha was one of my students last semester. We're going to have a brief conversation that will hopefully give you a sense of what the class is all about.
Yeah, so Professor Preston, what do you hope students like myself will remember about 302 20 years from now?
That's such a great question. So the thing is, I don't hope that students will remember, say, the details of how many refugees are displaced in one particular region of the world, or the date of a crucial convention that governs the refugee, the international law of the refugee crisis. What I really hope students remember is that they can bring their knowledge, their interests, their unique expertise that they're building through their majors and minors to this tremendous global challenge, the crisis of forced displacement, and to other big challenges, and that they can have an impact. So it's really, what I want them to remember is a way of thinking about problems and the way of thinking about solutions to those problems. Of course, I also do hope that students maintain a concern for those who, because of no fault of their own, are forcibly displaced from their homes around the world. I want that concern to remain. But largely, what I'm interested in is the way students think about big problems.
Sure, yeah.
So, Susritha, could you tell me what challenged you most about the class, and maybe also what you liked best about it?
So I think what's interesting is 302 as a course is a very team-based, team-structured course. And so my first, like when you say challenge, the first thing that comes to my mind is that whole teamwork aspect, because I remember we were a team of 5 and actually in your discussion section, but we were working on the Palestinian diaspora and we had to write a paper, and it was just 5 people, so many people and so many ideas, and we were trying to get used to each other and like figure out each other's schedules, and it just felt like a whole mess. But then you asked me what was my favorite part about the course or what I liked best about the course. And my answer remains the same, the teamwork aspect, because by the end of the course, we had gotten really close and we had understood each other's workflow and things and how, like what kind of a process we could use to write really effectively or to come up with ideas really effectively. And it's so interesting how that progressed. And so I want to say that in both cases, it was a teamwork, just different aspects and perspectives of it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, Professor Preston, how do you think the course has evolved from where it started to where it is right now? And then do you have any ideas of how it might evolve in the future?
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned teamwork, because the course began with a really large team of faculty. So we had an expert on trauma from the Wheelock College, an expert on international law from the School of Law, myself, Professor Zaman from biomedical engineering, Professor Laurie from international relations, 3 other faculty with different perspectives in sociology, law, and we came together to design the course. And very similar to your experience, we had so many ideas, so many things we wanted to pack into this very interdisciplinary course on forced displacement, and we had to cut them down. And then I would say over the next few months and now years looking ahead, we will continue to pare down the course information so that we don't bog down the real message of the course with all of the details that we want, even though the details are, of course, important. So I imagine that we will continue to pare down the content of the course to make sure that students have those really crucial takeaways about how they can contribute to solving the problem of forced displacement. But then also you asked me about the future evolution. I think we are seeing new instances of forced displacement based on new conflicts. Climate change is pushing people out of their homes. So one of the things that's going to change every single year is that we will be up to date on the major concerns around displacement around the world. And so the contexts that we focus on will unfortunately change as other crises emerge. So Susritha, one of the things that inspired me most about teaching 302 last semester is that in spite of the pandemic, which disrupted so much of what we were trying to do in the course and totally disrupted your lives as students, your particular group took your final project forward, and you were developing workbook pages on mental health that will soon be distributed to Palestinian children and their families in refugee camps. Could you say a little bit about that journey for you?
Yeah, I'll say it was very it felt spontaneous and fast and a little bit crazy, but it happened and we're still in the process of getting it out there. So it started as our final project idea where we were really focused on feasibility of a project, that whatever we did as a group, we wanted it to be like very feasible and something that we could actually see getting implemented somewhere if we ever got the opportunity. And it was really cool because we did. And so actually over the summer, three out of the five of us were available. And so we got to take part in the Summer Institute for Research on Forced Displacement and really build our project there. And during that time, we reached out to people. And this one person from the Palestinian Red Crescent was just so enthusiastic about the project, and he was like, if you have the time and you have a willingness to help us, we would love your help. We would love a full workbook. And so none of us were actually, our fields were not psychology. And so we were like, we're not really like built for this, but they were like, you know what, if you do the research, we'll help you and we can put this forward. And so that's exactly what we did. And so we went from like our classroom project that was like 2 or 3 slides to a whole workbook that was like 30 pages. And so that was just a pleasure. And I had the pleasure of illustrating the workbook. And so that's a hobby of mine, art. And it was really great to be able to put that into something else. Yeah.
It's amazing and inspiring, Susritha, to work with you. And I look forward to all of the things you're going to do in the future.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and it's always been a pleasure being your student.